Welcome back to The Pulse. Now, the Executive Secretary of the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, Dr. Ishmael Aka, has responded to criticisms that his outfit did not consider the plight of Ghanaians when it released the upward adjustments on tariffs. Now, in spite of the soaring inflation and general economic meltdown, the PURC pegged its new utility tariffs at some 27.15% for electricity and 21.55% for water. And we do know that that's triggering a lot of response from the general public. However, commenting on the matter, the PURC says that it was mindful of the economic conditions of Ghanaians. Well, the Executive Secretary of PURC, Dr. Ishmael Aka, says that enough measures were taken into consideration by reducing the burden of this new tariff adjustment on Ghanaians.
Well, I may need to check the figures because this is for Ghana Water, for ECG, for other Greco,
okay.
For NELCO, yes.
Okay, and then the loans bit you were talking
about? Yes, so government took some loans some time ago, some about 10 years ago, and on-lend these loans to the utilities. So government can take or attempt pay for a project. Now in 2015, 2016, there was this cabinet decision that the utilities should start paying back those loans. So when you look at Ghana Water's proposal, they had about 600 million cedis in the proposal as payment to government as part of paying back those on-lend loans. So again, we engage government that these are loans you took. You are paying and government is paying those loans anyway. And this is a policy. And because of that, they added this 600 million to the proposal. If they pay you, this is the implication on the tariff. If you decide to forego, at least for the next 3 years, this will be the implication. Government says, okay, already I'm paying for it, so I want to forego that. Now you see, you've already taken the return on equity out. You take the on-lend loan out. You see that the number for, say, Ghana Water or ECG has already reduced. So these were the exercises, unpacking the proposals and taking item by item, looking at the policy issues with government and those we should deal with when it comes to the utility. Let me also add that doing all these things when it comes to the operations, like maintenance, operations, and human resource, we gave it to them so that the utilities can continue to operate.
So you mean what they asked for human resource purposes and operations purposes, you didn't touch?
We did our audits, and when we did arm's length analysis to see that if you say that you're going to maintenance will cost A, it's a similar utility in Cote d'Ivoire, similar utility in a similar country, the same size, same meters. How much are they going to spend next year on maintenance? We did all those things, and when we were satisfied, we also looked at their own trend analysis, inflation-adjusted trend analysis over the past 10 years. That how much have you been spending on maintenance for you to ask for this for the next 3 years? So after satisfying ourselves, mostly we approved most of the operational budget so that at least they can remain stable. But for the capital budget, that is where we did this aggregation and took some of the things out.
So operations, we know Ghana Water Company, Electricity Company of Ghana would need investment.
Yes.
Heavy investment going forward.
Yeah.
Did this factor that in?
Yes, so they also submitted more like projects they want to invest in. True, they did. So again, we did two things. One of them was that we invited them to justify, we call it the formal hearing process. You justify each investment. One, the cost, how that investment is going to help you meet our benchmarks in terms of reducing losses, in terms of improving reliability, in terms of satisfying the customer, and how that investment is going to help overall in your performance, improve your performance. So we did that. Then we worked with the utilities to scale this down to the critical investment. And let me also add that, initially we were looking at 5 years. This major tariff review should have been for 5 years.
Well, let's get some more reactions on this. Kofi Kapito is CEO for the Consumer Protection Agency. Thank you so much, sir, for your time. So PURC there indicating that they were mindful of consumers and the times in which we find ourselves, the economic meltdown, and that's why we're having the figures even at 27 for electricity and 21% for water. That's a good justification, isn't it?
Let me say good afternoon to you and your listeners. Yes, I agree to the fact that they were mindful to the percentage of the 27 and the 21. But the issue is he talked about other things. He talked about their new projects. I don't think it's fair for a consumer to pay in advance a company's project. The ideal situation is the company should go and get an investment, come and input it, improve the service delivery, and then say that, you know what, because I've done A, B, C, D to improve the service delivery, so the cost of selling my product is going to go up. But for you to come to your customer and tell him that pre-finance me, when you pre-finance me, then I'll come back and charge you for a higher rate, I don't think it was fair.
But he says the process has been delayed for well over 5 years. So it goes without saying that it's been a delayed adjustment.
Yeah, but the funny thing is people's salaries too has been delayed for some time. But we are also not saying that because of that, government should give us what we want. All I'm saying is I agree. Yes, 21 or 27% is better than 148 and 300%. But what we are saying as consumers is, yes, we agree that we need some increase here and there. But some of the justifications where I have a challenge with. Look, what residential users used to need is what is called a flat rate. Now it is being segregated. When you go from 0 to 150, it's a different price. If you go from 151 to 300, it's a different price. When you go from 301 to 600, all these things should be removed so that when I consume more as a consumer, if the flat rate is 1 cedi per gigawatt, that is what everybody pays. Then I will be able to say that because I want to consume less, I will conserve. But this segregation thing, first, I don't agree with. Number two, I don't think it is the consumer's business to pre-finance any business in Ghana. Let me use multimedia for an example.
All right,
I'm sure my brother, Kwesi Chum, did not go to people who are coming to do commercial at both networks that give me money in advance before I can set up my radio or my TV station. He did that and he says, this is my rate. So that's what we expect the utilities to do. If they need to go to the bond market or anywhere to go and borrow money, then after that, Ghanaians want what is called uninterrupted 24/7 supply of electricity and water.
But you agree that over the years, we've not been paying realistic tariffs. Is that a good argument to make?
When they say realistic, what is realistic? That's the question I asked them. I mean, if the salary of the Ghanaian is what can afford him to pay what we've been paying for all these years, why are you blaming us? Are you getting my point?
Right.
If you go to the and you go and buy tomatoes and you don't know how to price your own tomatoes and you sell it and I go and make soup with the tomatoes, why are you coming to tell me that? Why am I enjoying my soup? I don't think it's fair. All this thing about it's been delayed. It's been delayed by who? It hasn't been delayed by the consumer, the end user. It's been delayed by the players that were supposed to do what they should have done 10 years ago. So why are the consumers being blamed? All I'm saying is, yes, the PURC did a good job. There's no two ways about it. Coming from 148 to 27, and then from 400 to from 300 to 21 is a good job. But I see one company that is very, very unfair to consumers in Ghana is Ghana Water. Ghana Water is not giving us water. So why are they telling us that because of their own inefficiencies? People report about a pipe burst, leakages, and they don't care. Look, any company that is stressed for money should cut a lot of unnecessary expenses out fresh. Okay, you don't put your luxury expenses on your customer when you know your business is going down. You don't do that. And this is why we are saying that, yes, we agree with PURC. They did a good job by saying that, no, not 148, not 300, but 27.1, and then 21. When you compare it to, and then especially the issue about they gave the SMEs a lower tariffs. I agree with them. But the question is, you and I know that there's no tailor, there's no barber, there's no hairdresser who would tell you and I that because the utilities have been reduced for them, they are going to pass it on to you, the end user, the consumer.
So you feel it's of no use anyway?
It's of, no, I'm not saying it's of no use. But the question is, how is the consumer going to benefit? That is a question we need to ask.
Right. In recent days, I mean, we've seen some groups already call on the president to try and further cut down the figures or perhaps suspend the announcement on the 27% and 21% respectively. We understand that in the coming days, a petition will be on the table of the president to deal with the matter. But from your position as the Consumer Protection Agency, would it be appropriate for government to, at least looking at the times in which we find ourselves, to suspend the implementation of the tariffs?
You know, when government suspends it or when anybody intervenes, that is what caused the delay. As he was talking about, it hasn't been done in 10 years. I don't want any government suspension. The question is, yes, the 27% to me is not the best, but it is ideal for now. But the question is, there are other challenges facing the consumer, which is salary that would afford him to pay. Yeah, the consumer also has a right to do what is called conservation. But the question is, how much are you going to conserve? Even God, when he was creating the world, and he knew how important light was, he didn't say, let there be water. He said, let there be light. So light is very, 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 very important. In all spheres of life, you know, your day-to-day affair, businesses, everybody uses electricity.
So what you mean to say is that we should not be looking at a government intervention at this moment?
Like he said already, and you also repeated it, the delay. I don't want any more delays. If this is what is going to get us out of the situation, I don't have a problem. My biggest problem is the other concerns that I'm raising. That should be looked at by the PURC and government is what is important to me.
If we look at the fixed rate, it may come with some problems, for instance, because we're in a sub-region, others are adopting so many measures in dealing with tariffs. You want that flat rate, and the problem is going forward and looking at our projections, that may not be sustainable, right?
What will not be sustainable? Based on my consumption and based on what I need and demand is when you go to give me the electricity.
Yeah, but Mr. Kapiso, the factors of production may vary in the coming days.
No, I agree with you. But the question that as you and I are speaking, I'm advocating that, yes, I don't like the fact that as a residential user, we are being discriminated against based on how much you use or based on your consumption. The industries or whatever were given a flat rate. So why can't we also have a flat rate? I mean, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
industries were given a flat rate. SMEs were given a flat rate. How come the consumer or the residential user is not given a flat rate?
At least we know that a mini window may present itself to the PURC. What's your expectation of them?
Well, I'm hoping that it will come and I'll have opportunity to also advance some of the things that I'm telling you. I'm not against anybody's effort. They did a wonderful job. Like I know because the Consumer Protection Agency has a rep on the PURC board, and I know what work they put in and everything. But the question is, there are other issues that we should look at that will make the residential user also more capable, number one, not to do illegal connections, not to do bypass, and then be able to pay their bills on time. That is very, very important. But the question is, there's something called ability to pay. If I'm not able to pay, what do I do?
We'll see what then will happen in that next window. I'm grateful for your time. Kofi Kapito, who's Chief Executive for the Consumer Protection Agency.
Thank you.